Welcome to Exam Study Hacks, where we turn difficult maths into easy scores. Today we'll be solving Cambridge IGCSE Mathematics Paper 2 Non-Calculator Extended. This is November 2025 and it's 2 hours papers. So I want you to get all your learning materials ready while we work. Now we have some basic instructions here. You must answer on the question paper. So it's something you should know. You will need geometrical instrument. You're meant to answer all questions. You can see other things you need to know about this paper. Calculator must not be used in this paper. You may use tracing paper if you have, and you must show all necessary working clearly. These are the basic things you need to know as you prepare for your IGCSE. And the total mark for this paper is 100. All right. Now, let's see. This is the formula list. This is the list of formulas that you can always refer to if you have any challenge as you work with this paper. So you're lucky to have the formula list here. That doesn't really mean you who also get acquainted with your formulas. These are some of the formulas you'll be needing to be able to work. So we move. Remember that this is non-calculator paper, so you are not allowed to use your calculator. So we go with the first question here. Remember, we are looking for the best tricks that we can actually use to make these things easy. We say calculator must not be used. Okay, we'll say that before now. Let's look at question 1. Question 1 says divide $90 in the ratio of 2 to 3. So let's quickly go straight. I'm trying to divide 90 in the ratio of 2 to 3. So I can get the total ratio to be 5. How? By saying 2 plus. If I say 2 plus 3, it's going to give me 5. So if I want to know what this will give to me, I'm going to say 2 over the total ratio, which is 2 over 5. Then multiply by 90 over 1. So I can simplify from here. 5 here will give us 1, and 5 into 9 obviously will give us 1. There will be a remainder of 4, which comes here, and 5 into 40 will give us what? Will give us 8. So we multiply 8 by 2. If I multiply 8, I'm multiplying 18 by 2, and that will give us 36. 36 for this very ratio. So I don't need to use the same formula to be able to get it. Since I already know that this is 36, I'm just going to get the difference between, because if this person is getting $36, then the other person will get the difference between 90 and 36. So I'm just going to say 90 minus 36 to get the other person's ratio. And here becomes 4. And we are left with 8. And 8 minus 3 will give us 5. So we have our 54. Easy peasy. That is just it. So we move to question 2. Question 2 says, in the diagram, AC is equal to BC. AC, you can see your line AC. This is line AC, and is equal to line BC. So that tells you that this is an isosceles triangle. So work out angle CAB. Work out angle CAB. So which one is at the center? This is the angle we are looking for. But that is what we have at the center, CAB. So this is the very angle. The angle formed there is what we are looking for. So from the idea of isosceles triangle, we know that the angle here and the angle here will be equal. Actually. So what do? We need to get the very angle here first. That is the very first thing we need. How am I going to go get that? We know if we turn around that this would have been 360 degrees. So let's quickly say 148 plus 82. 148 plus 82. All right, so let's put 82 here. So we add up, it's going to give us 10, then 1, 5 plus 8, which is 13, and the 1 comes here, we have 230. So if we take 230 away from 360, so you simply write your 360 minus 230. So you're going to have, let's write this 3 properly. We're going to have 0, and this is 3, and this is 1. So here will be 130 degree. But that's not what we are looking for. If here is 130 degree, then what do we do to get this other side? We know that the angle here and the angle here will be equal. So, and we know that the total angle in a triangle is 180. Total angle in a triangle is 180. So meaning the angle here, and this will sum up to 180. So let's get the difference between 180 and 130. If we get 180 minus 130, which you can even do without all these things that I'm doing, you can actually say this things offhand. So this becomes 0, and this is 50 degree. Sure. So we know that the sum of this very angle and the sum of this angle here will be equal to 50. So how do we now get one of it, which is angle CAB? We simply divide 50 by 2. We divide 50 by 2. That will give us what? 25 degree. So let's look at question 3. Question 3 says, find the interior angle of a regular 20-sided polygon. Find the interior angle of a regular 20-sided polygon. You need a trick to be able to get this faster. One is that you know that the number of sides is what? 20. So find the interior angle. I can decide to go the other way around, not using the interior angle formula. I know that if I get the exterior angle, we know that the exterior angle plus interior angle, exterior plus interior will always produce 180 degree. So I can quickly get the exterior. How am I going to get the exterior? To get the exterior, I'm going to simply divide 360 by the number of sides. If I divide 360 by 20, then this takes this. So now we're going to have 36 for sure. Sorry, 36 divided by 2, we're going to have 18. That will be the exterior angle. This will be exterior angle. Now, and I know that exterior plus interior will produce what? Exterior plus interior will produce 180 degree. So if I want to get the exterior here, since I've gotten my exterior to be what? 18. I want to get the interior. I'm going to simply say 180. 180 minus what? 18. 180 minus 18, this becomes 2. We are left with 7, and 7 minus 1. 7 minus 1 will give us 6, and we bring down 1. So 162 degree. 162. Find the exterior angle of its regular polygon. So all the angles, all the interior angles are meant to be equal. Now question 4. You need to first of all read your questions carefully to be able to understand exactly what you're supposed to do. That will actually help you beat speed, or beat time rather. We say the area of a triangle is 12 centimeter square. So I'm saying that I'm writing my formula. Area of a triangle, which is A, is, we know it is always half BH, meaning the half of the base multiplied by the height. So the area of a triangle is 12 centimeters square. The length of the base of the triangle is 8 centimeters. So work out the height of the triangle. So we know the area is already given as 12, and 12 will be equal to half of what? Let's multiply. Our base is given as 8, and we're going to multiply the height as well, which is h, and that is exactly what we are looking for. So if we do that, I can even make this to look this way for simplicity. So I know that this can take this to give me 1, and this takes this to give us 4. So we are going to say that 12 will be equal to 4 times h, which will give us 4h. So we divide here by 4, divide both sides by 4, divide here by 4. And that is it. And your h becomes what? If I divide this, h becomes this, and we have 3. And our h here becomes what? 3 centimeters. Very easy. Now this is question 5. Question 5 says, describe fully the single transformation that maps triangle T onto triangle P. Describe fully the single transformation that maps triangle T onto triangle P. You first of all need to check the orientation. Check the orientation of triangle P and triangle T. If you check, you can see that the orientation is the same. Meaning, this is not likely going to be a rotation. Obviously, it's not a reflection. If it's a reflection, the orientation would have changed. It's not an enlargement, so you know, because the size remains the same. These are the things you need to first of all figure out. Now, meaning this is just a slide. It's just like sliding from one position to another. So obviously it's going to be what? I know it's going to be translation. I'm going to write translation. So it is translation. I've been able to identify that this is a translation. So what do I do? Describe fully the single transformation that maps triangle T onto triangle P. It's translation. But we need to know the movement. We need this moved from here. Let's mark this particular point. I can use this to get, this is 1 up, then 1, 2, 3 to the left, 1 up, and 3 steps to the left. I can go, because we are checking triangle what? T to P. So I can also go first of all on the x-axis, and I will go 1, 2, 3, then 1 up. Meaning 3 steps backward and 1 step up. So remember that the x-axis will describe the coordinate. So I can write that the coordinate of x moved how many? X moved, or we can just describe it, avoid any form of confusion for you to get your answer completely. You can say 2, let's write 3 to the what? Left, 3 steps to the left and 1 step up. Which, if I want to write the coordinate, I know that this is -3 because he moved 1, 2, 3, -3, then comma what? 1, because that the 1 is positive because he moved up, he didn't move down. It's just this, very simple. This is all you need to do. You can also decide to put it in a vector form. If I put it as a vector or in a column form, I'm just going to write -3, -3, and 1. So I can also have it this way. Either of these will give you a full mark. Now, B says draw the image of triangle T after an enlargement of scale factor 2, center 3, 3. Draw the image of triangle T. So we're going to draw another triangle T after an enlargement of scale factor 2, then center 3, 3. So where is the center? Center is 3 and 3. Where are we going to have 3 and 3? This is 3 for X and 3 for Y, means here. 3 for X and 3 for Y means I'm going to be here. This is where I'm supposed to be. So this will be my center of what? Enlargement. And I'm going to increase all the dimensions by what? By 2. I'm going to increase all the dimensions of this very triangle T by 2. So what does that mean? That from the center of enlargement, I'm going to increase each of these dimensions by 2. So from the center of enlargement, now let's count. Remember, we are multiplying by 2 since the scale factor is 2. From here to here is 1. From here to here is 1. So I'm going to count. I'm going to multiply 1 by 2. I'm going to have 1 and 2. So I'm going to mark this point. Then I also need to know that from here, that is 1, 2. For me to get this particular point, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4. Because I'm multiplying by 2. Then let's get here. For us to move from the center of enlargement to this point, we need to move 1, 2, 1, 2. So we are going to multiply each by 2, which will give us 4. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we are here. So now we can connect our triangle. I'm going to connect this and this. And I'm going to connect this and this. Then this is what we are supposed to have. So let's quickly get the dimensions. So now we can just quickly write the coordinate of this very point of the enlarged triangle. So if we pick this first, the other doesn't matter anyway. So I can pick this. This is 1 for y and 3 for x. So I'm going to write, because it said draw the image of triangle after an enlargement of scale factor 2 and 3. So this is exactly, anyway, you can decide to write out the coordinates, but this is exactly what it's, because the question says draw. This is exactly what you're supposed to do. So right now the coordinate will simply be a waste of time. So this is exactly what you're supposed to have. So we go to the next question. We say find the value of, this is indexes. Don't even allow them to trick you. Find the values of, so using your indices law, when you have multiplication, what do? You add the powers. The bases are the same. So I'm going to say 5 raised to the power of negative 5. Negative 5. Because I'm adding the powers. Negative 5 plus 5. Let's write this 5 properly. Negative 5 plus 5. And obviously that will give us what? Negative 5 positive 5 will give us 5 raised to the power of what? 0. And anything raised to the power of 0 is always what? 1. So here becomes 1. And that is the simple answer you're supposed to get. Easy peasy. Now we go to the next question. Let's write this one properly. Sorry about that. Okay, so we go to the next question. This is also indices. You have to solve 125 raised to the power of 2 over 3. There are 2 ways you can do this. It all depends on which one you prefer. So it's all about what you know how to do best. So I can write this as cube root, because this is 2 over 3. I can write this as cube root of 125. Cube root of 125. Then all raised to the power of 2. All raised to the power of 2. Because of the 2 here. So, and that will produce what? Cube root of 125 is like, what number would you multiply 3 times to give you 125? So let's try 5. 5 times 5 is 25. And 25 times 5 will give you what? 125. So meaning, I'm supposed to write this as 5 squared. 5 squared. I hope I'm not speeding. Look at it. Cube root of 125 is 5. So I'm going to square the 5. If I square this 5 now, then I'm going to get what? 25. That is method 1. Another student may decide to do something different. I can write 125 as 5 raised to the power of 3. I can write 125 as 5 raised to the power of 3. Then I'm going to multiply it by this 2 over 3. I'm going to multiply it by 2 over 3. In that case, 3 takes 3 here, and I'm left with 5 squared. Another easy method. I'm left with 5 squared, which will still produce 25. So we go to the next question. Simplify p over t divided by 2 over t. This is like 3 mark, 2 marks. So I'm just going to write this as p over t. Now the division changes to multiplication, and I'm going to get the reciprocal of this. I'm just going to invert it. If I do that, the t goes up and the 2 comes down. So in that case, we know that t can take t. T can take t. So what do we have? P over 2. Have p over 2. Very easy. Now let's look at this. The question says simplify. To simplify means to write in the simplest form. So if I have this and this is 3x over 4 minus x minus 1 over 2. You can give it the common denominator. That will be the first thing you're going to do. So what is the common denominator? It's not like the LCM. The LCM of 4 and 2 obviously is 4. Is 4. And I'm going to say 4 into 4, which produces 1. And the 1 will multiply. That will be like 1 times 3x. It's also good you show all your steps. 3x plus, let me write this properly. Sorry about that. Let me write this properly. We need to make the division line bigger. So if I get 4 as the common denominator, which is the LCM, 4 into 4 will produce 1. And I will multiply the 1 by 3x. And I'm going to write, what we have there is a minus. That is where a lot of students will miss this. Watch what I'm going to do here. I'm going to put this minus and I'm going to open a bracket. Why? Because of this very minus. If I don't put this bracket, I may get into trouble. Some of you may miss it. So now you're going to say 2 into 4, and that will give you 2. Then you're going to multiply the 2. Sorry, I should have done that before the bracket. Follow this approach. This will save you from trouble. So you're going to write the 2 before you open your bracket. I write your x minus 1. Doing this will save you from any form of error. And you're going to have this. Now 1 times 3x will give you 3x, obviously. Then I'm going to say negative 2 times x will give me, to produce negative 2x. And I'm going to say negative 2 multiplied by negative 1. You see why we needed to work with that bracket. That will give us 2. And all will be over 4. So we collect like terms. 3x minus 2x will give us x. We're going to have x plus 2 over 4. And that will be our final answer. Now let's look at question 8. The cost of 1 orange is t cent. The cost of 1 apple is w cent. Wow. The cost of 1 orange is t cent. The cost of 1 apple is w cent. The total cost of 3 oranges and 1 apple is 51 cents. The total cost of 6 oranges and 5 apples is 129 cents. When you see something like this, what comes to your mind? Simultaneous equation should come to your mind. So don't be tricked. So if the cost of 1 orange is t, then the cost of 3 oranges should be what? 3 times the cost of 1, which should be 3 multiplied by the cost of 1, which is t. Now the total cost of 2 oranges and 1 apple. So the cost of 1 apple is w what? Cent. So the cost of 1 will be what? 1 times w, which will still give you 1w, which you can simply write as w. And all put together will give you 51. 51. Now we go to the next line. The total cost of 6 oranges. So here it is 6 multiplied by the cost of 1, which is t, plus now, and 5 apples is 129. So here we're going to have, because the cost of 1 apple is w, so if there are 5, it's going to be 5 times w, which will give you 5w, and all will be equal to what? 129. So if you have done this, you're already close to getting your answer. 129. So you can now solve this using any method of your choice in simultaneous equation. For me, I can decide to use elimination. So if I want to use elimination, I can just swap coefficient. If I want to eliminate, let's say I want to eliminate w. I can eliminate w. I can swap coefficient. What the coefficient of w here is 1. So I'm going to multiply it with 1. That is coefficient of w in the equation 1. We multiply equation 2. And the coefficient of w in equation 2, we multiply equation 1. So we are going to have it this way. So we go, if we multiply, what are we going to have? Let's see. 5 times 3 will give us 15. 15t. And 5 times w will give us 5w. 5w. Let's write that t properly. And 5 times 51, you can work it out. 5 times 1 is 5. And 5 times 5 is 25. That is 251. I don't think that space will be enough. Let's reduce it. 251. Look at it again. Sorry. 251. 5 times 5 will be equal to, 5 times 1 will be equal to 5. And 5 times 5 will be equal to 25. So it becomes 255. Let's also multiply this. If you multiply this by 1, it's just going to produce the same thing. So 1 times 60 will give us 16. And 1 times 5w will give us 5w. And show off, 1 times 129 will produce 129. Then you get the difference. 15t minus 60. What is 15 minus 6? That will give us 9. 9t. And 5 you can put this in bracket to be on the safe side, because you might have minus or a negative sign in any of these, which must also be affected by this. So here we say 5 minus 5, we're going to get what? 0. So there won't be any writing 0. So we now say 225 minus what? 129. Let's check. 5 minus 9, now we borrow 15. 15 minus 9 is 6. We are left with what here? 4. 4 minus 2 is obviously 2. And 2 minus 1 is 1. So 90 will be equal to what? 126. So we can divide both sides by 9. We can divide both sides by 9. 9 goes here, 9 goes here. And we have our t to be equal to what? 9 here will give us 1. And 9 into 12 will be 1. There will be a remainder of what? A remainder of 3 for sure. And that makes this 36. And 9 into 36, it made it 36. And 9 into 36 will give us what? 4. So in that case, our t becomes 14. Now that we know what t is, we can go back. We can use any equation of our choice. Let's use the first one. The first one says that 3 of t plus w is equal to 51. So at this point, we're just going to substitute the value of t. So wherever we see t, we put 14. So we're going to say 3 times 14. 3 times 14. 3 times 14. Let's check what that will give us. 3 times 4 is 12. We take 1. And 3 times 1 is 3 plus 1. That will be 42. So that follows that 42 plus what? W will be equal to what? 51. So we now solve. In that case, we can say that our W will be equal to what? 51 minus 42. If we borrow, this becomes 11 minus 2, which is 9, and 4 minus 4, because we'll be left with 4 here. 4 minus 4 will be obviously 0. So in that case, what is the value of our t? Our t is 14, and our w is 9. And that is what we're supposed to have. You can pause the video and just go over it again for you to be able to understand it. Now question 9 says, Nina walks at an average speed of 5 km per hour, correct to the nearest kilometer per hour. She walks for exactly 2 hours. Work out the lower bound for the distance Nina walks. You need to understand your bounds. You need to understand your bounds to be able to do this. But if you're watching this video and you have any challenge with bounds, just let me know. Let me know so you can subscribe and type. Just send me a message that you have issue with bounds, and I'm going to tweet it. But subscribe so that you'll be able to get a notification when I do that. So if it now works at an average, so we need to first of all get how this whole thing works. First of all, speed. What is the relationship between speed, distance, and time? We know that speed will be equal to what? Distance over what? Over time. Speed itself will be equal to distance over time. So speed will be distance over time. So meaning, what is our speed here? 5 kilometers. I can just write that 5 will be equal to the unknown distance. Let's say d is the distance which we don't know. All over the time taken, which is 2 hours. So if I want to get d here, d itself will be equal to 5 times 2. Remember, if we make this over 1, we actually can cross multiply. You can see d times 1 is d, 5 times 2 is what we're going to have here. Now, but the question says bound. We're looking at bound, lower bound. How do we get lower bound? This was rounded to the nearest what? To the nearest kilometer. To the nearest kilometer. Meaning there would have been some point, would have been
some point which would have been in middle.
So rounding to the nearest kilometer is like rounding to ones. So if I want to get what I'm supposed to use to multiply these two, this is 5 kilometers relative to the nearest tens. It means I'm going to get the lower bound. The lower bound of this will be 5. No, the lower bound will be 4.5. The upper bound will be 5.5. The lower bound, since we rounded to the nearest kilometer, if I want to get the lower bound, I'm going to subtract 0.5. If I want to get the upper bound, I'm going to add 0.5. But I'm looking at the lower bound. I'm going to work with 4.5 multiplied by the hours, which is 2. Nobody told us that the hours is rounded, so we're just going to work with it this way. That will be 4.5 times 2, and that will produce 9 kilometers. Now, let's look at this. Number 10 says, this is universal set where n, for that n is an integer, and n is less than or equal to n, and is less than or equal to, so the 1 is less than or equal to n, or less than or equal to 8. So first of all, what would you do? You're looking for A intersection B, and you're also looking for the cardinality of A union what? A complement union what? B. For you to get this, first of all, list all the elements of this set. If I list all the universal sets, how many are there? What are we supposed to have? We're going to have, we have 1, but 1 is also part of it. 2, we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and lastly is 8. These are the elements of the universal what? The universal set. Now, A are factors of what? A equal to what? Factors of what? 12. Let's look for factors of 12 here for us to be able to get the members of A. The members of A will be factors of 12, meaning number that can divide into 12, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. They are the factors of 12. Then B, odd numbers. Let's get all the odd numbers. When we get all the odd numbers, so we're going to have 1, 3, 5, 7. That will be all odd numbers that we're meant to have there. Now we're going to look for A intersection B. So where are they meeting? A intersection B will be equal to what? You can see it is very obvious from this. This is having 1, this is having 1. We pick 1. Like their common ground. There's 2 here, there's no 2 here, but there's 3 and there's 3. Pick this. What else do we have? So let's just quickly put it here. We're going to have 1, 3. Now what else is in common there? There's 4, there's no 4 here. There's 6, there's no 6 here. So I don't know if you're going to have 1 and 3. 1 and 3. Now, we go to the n of what? A complement union B. Let's first of all get A complement. A complement means we're taking A away from the universal set. So A complement, I'm just going to take away A from the general set. So I know these are the numbers of 1 is here, so I won't write 1. 2 is here, I won't write 2. 3 is here, I won't write 3. There is 4, I won't write 4. But there is no 5, so I'm going to write 5. There is 6, I won't write 6. But I'm going to write 7 because there is no 7 in A. And I'm going to write 8 because there is no 8 in A. All these are A complement. Now I want to unite it with B. So it means I'm going to write everything that is in B and in A complement together. But I'm not going to repeat. Let's just do it straight. But I'm not going to repeat any element. So I can start with the smallest, which is 1. So if I write 1, there is 1 there. The next is 3. The next is 5. Remember there is 5 here, there is 5. I don't need to repeat it. The next is 7. There is 7 in both, so I'll just pick 1. And there is 8 here. And I'm just going to write 8. That will be what I'm looking for. Oh, but the question says cardinality.
That is the number of elements in this. That is the cardinality. So how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, so instead of doing this is what we are supposed to write. We are supposed to write the number of elements. We've counted, and actually there are 5 in number. So I'm just going to write 5 here. That is the number of elements.
Now, we're going to simply write this as a fraction, knowing fully well that this is actually a rational number, since what we have here is recurring decimal. This is recurring decimal. And seeing the 2 dots tells you that 2, 4 is being repeated or is reoccurring. So this is going to be recurring rather. So it's going to be 0.24242424 in that order of repetition. So what do? We are going to equate x. Let's say we can say x is equal to 0.24. Now we're going to multiply. Since what is being repeated is 2 digits, so we can multiply by 100. 2 digits is being repeated, so we can multiply by 100. So but we're multiplying both sides by 100. So I'm going to multiply this, and this will give me 100x to be equal to. I'm also going to multiply this, and I'm going to have I'm going to have 24. Now let's get the difference. The difference will be like, let's say we want to take equation 1 away from equation 2. We're going to write 100x minus x here, which is 1x. That is like 1x. Sure. Now, to be equal to what? That will be equal to 24. This is 24. But that is like, because this is being repeated. It's like writing 24.24. It's being repeated. 2424 we keep being repeated. So here we can, what do we do now? We can now also write 0.24, and this will be written as 0.24. So let's get the difference. Here we are going to have what? 24 for sure. We're going to have 24. Then the 24 would have become 0.24 minus 0.24 will give us 0. So we're going to have 24 here. And this will be equal to what? 100 minus 1 will give us 99. 99x. So x itself will be what? X itself becomes 24 over 99. Can any number reduce this? I'm sure 3 can go. 3 into 24 will give us 8. And 3 into 99 will give us 33. So we can have it as this: 8 over 33 or 24 over 99. Either of these will give you your total mark. So question 12 says the diagram shows a sector of a circle with center O and radius 9 centimeter. The perimeter of the sector is 18 plus 2 pi centimeter. Find the area of the sector. Give your answer in terms of pi. This question is something you need to carefully look at. You need to carefully look at this question. It's just more than a calculation. You need to think. So if the perimeter of a sector is 18 plus 2 pi, remember that for us to get the perimeter of this sector is like going round. I'm going to go here, go here, go here. When I put all this together, that is exactly how I'm going to arrive at what? 18 plus what? 2 pi. Meaning that this 18 represents your 9 plus 9, which is just the addition of the radii of the sector. Now, that follows that just the distance, let's give it a different color. This distance will represent the length of this arc. The length of the arc becomes here, which you know, this is your arc from here to here. So the length from what we have here, from this, is simply 2 pi. It's 2 pi. Because that is the length of arc. Length of arc. Now that we know that, we want to find the area of the what? Of the sector. How do we find the area of a sector?
We know that area of a sector, the formula is A is equal to what? A is equal to theta. So let's write the formula. Theta over 360 times 2 pi. Sorry, it's area, not length of an arc. Area. Theta over 360 times what? Pi r square. So now that is the formula for calculating area of a sector. But is that what we are looking for? No. The question says find the area of the sector. Okay, sorry, that is exactly what we are looking for. But something is missing. We have every other information. We have our radius. We can express our answer in terms of pi, but we don't have this. We don't have theta. So what do we do? Now let's use length of an arc. Remember that this is our length of an arc. This is the length, and we know that length of an arc here. Instead of writing L, we already know the value to be what? 2 pi. The length of our arc is 2 pi, and the formula of length of an arc is equal to what? Is theta over what? 360. 360 times 2 times pi times our r, which is 9. So if we make this over 1, what do? We can cross multiply, or we can reduce from this point. We know that 2 can take this, and 2 can also take this to give us 18, and this is 0. It's getting easier. 9 can also go. 9 here, 1, and 9 into 18 will give us what? 20. So what are we going to have now? We're going to have that 2 pi will be equal to our theta over what? 20 times what? What do we have remaining here? We don't really have anything remaining because this has been taken. We have pi. We still have our pi here. So we're just going to have pi here now remaining. Pi over 1. We can write it that way. So what we do? We can simplify at this point. Theta times pi will give us pi theta. Pi theta will be equal to, we can cross multiply this for sure, 20 times 2 pi. So we can write 2 pi times 20. 2 pi times 20. Now let's see what theta will become. So we know that pi here can take the pi here, and theta becomes what? 2 times 20, which will give us 40. But that what we are looking for? No, we are not looking for theta. We are looking for what? The area of the sector. So now we know that our theta is 40. So let's clear the board so that we'll be able to now solve for. Now we're able to solve for the area. So if we do that, let's quickly do that. All right. So now we can go back to our formula. Remember that this is actually what? That area is equal to theta over 2 times pi r squared. Now we know our theta to be 40. So I'm going to replace this theta with 40. And I'm just going to write 40 over 360 times pi r squared. Our pi is still just as pi. Our r is 9 square, meaning 9 times 9. So 0 can take this 0. And 4 here is 1. 4 into 36 is 9. 9 here is 1. And 9 here is also 1. So we are left with what? Pi and 9. And 9 times pi, which simply give us 9 pi. And that becomes our final answer. The question says, write your answer in terms of pi. You already have it, 9 pi. Alright, we move to the next question. Say these are Rahul's 10 test scores. 9, 8, 9, 8, 7x, 9, 9x, and 7. The mean of the score is 8, find the interquartile range. You must show all your work in interquartile range. So we need to first of all find the value of x. If we don't find the value of x, we'll not be able to find the interquartile range. So what do we do? Now let's first of all get the value of x. Let's first of all get the value of x, and we're going to arrange this. So these are the whose test scores. So the mean of the score is 8. So I'm going to add up every other thing here. 9 plus 8, let's pick 9 plus 8 will give us 17, and 17 plus 9 will give us 20 what? That will be, and that becomes 26. Now we're going to say 26 plus 10, which will give us 36, and 36 plus 7. 36 plus 7 will produce 43. Then 43 plus 9 will produce what? 52 plus another 9, and that will give us 61 plus 7. So altogether we have 68, but we also have 2x here. So our mean, which is 8, remember, for you to get the mean, you're going to divide the sum of these whole scores by how many there are. And how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're going to have our 68. Sorry? We're going to write our 68. 68 plus, how many x do we have? They will have 2x. Over total, over the cardinality of the scores 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They are 10 altogether. We can cross multiply, and we're going to have 80 to be equal to 68 plus 2x. So we get the difference. 80 minus 68. That will produce 12. So we're going to write 12 will be equal to 2x. So the value of x itself, x becomes 6 for sure. So now we know that x here is 6. This can be replaced with 6, and this can be replaced with 6 also. What we are looking for, find the interquartile range. Find the interquartile range. If I want to find the interquartile range, then I'm going to arrange these numbers from the smallest to the biggest. I'm going to arrange, so I'm going to have, we have 6. How many 6 do we have? 2 6. We have 6 here. Then the next score is how many 7? 1 and 2. So we're going to have 7, 7, and 7. After 7, how many 8? We have 8 in how many places? Just one place. We have 8. After 8, we have 9, 9, 9, 9. 4 9s. 4 9s. We have 9, 9, 9, and 9. So what else do we have? After 9, we have 10. Just one 10. Do we have 11? So let's check that we've been able to pick all our scores. There should be 10 in number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's complete now. But we are looking for what? Find the interquartile what? Range. You must show all your working. So if I want to find interquartile range, it means I'm going to divide this into how many groups? So we have 1, look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So how do we share this into 4 groups? First of all, let's get the center. Let's get the center. 1, 2, 3, 4. This would have been the center. 1, 2, 3, 4. So interquartile range. Now we can get the lower quartile here. The lower quartile is the median, just like the median of this other number here. We've been able to, this is the median of the whole. If I get the addition of 8 and 9 and divide by 2, that will give me the median. But I need the lower quartile, which will be the median of these other four numbers coming from the left hand side. So if I get the median of these 6, 6, 7, and 7, the median will be 6 plus 7 divided by 2, and that will give us 6.5. Because that will be 13 divided by 2. Now, we'll come to the upper quartile. The upper quartile will be the addition. So the upper quartile becomes the median of these four numbers from the left hand side. So the median number here should be 999, and 9 plus 9 will still be 18 divided by 2, and that will give us 9. So now the question says find the interquartile range. So interquartile range should be upper quartile minus the lower quartile, and our upper quartile is 9. So we're going to say 9 minus the lower quartile, which is 6.5. 9 minus 6.5 obviously give us 2.5. You can take your time to watch the video to really understand how we got this 2.5. Then we go to this. So the question says A, B, C, D, and E lie on the circle. AC and BD intersect at X. So we can say the meeting point at X. Angle ACD is equal to 55 degrees, obvious here. ACD 55, and CXD is equal to 88 degrees. Complete the statement, give a geometrical reason in each part. So this is your circle theorem into play. Your circle theorem at play. So here, angle CDB. Let's look for angle CDB, meaning this very angle. Because this D is at the center. Angle CDB. So how do we get angle CDB? CDB. I'm saying CDB. But at least there is a triangle. I can see this triangle CDX. So if I already know this and I know this, then this is the third angle in the triangle. So, and we know sum of angle in a triangle is 180 degrees. So let's quickly plus 88 to 55. We quickly do that. So what I'm going to have 13 here, then 1, 9, and 9 plus 5 will give us 14, 143. So let's quickly take 143 away from 180. Remember, we are working with our calculator. 143. If we do that, here becomes 10. So 7, and we're left with 7 here. 7 minus 4 is 3. And 37 degrees is what we are looking for. So we can say that this is 37 degrees. We can write, what is our reason? Sum of angle in a triangle. Sum of what? Angles in a triangle. I can even use symbols. Sum of angles in a triangle. This we go. Sum of angles in a triangle. So we go to the next one. The next one says angle ABD. Let's look for ABD. A, B, and D. So we are looking for this very angle here. So we can see this should be equal to this, obviously. You can see angle in the same segment, which some students will call the bow tie theorem. These angles are, see, you can see this segment of the circle. You can see this is angle formed in the same word segment. So we can just, it's very easy. These angles are actually formed in the same word segment. If I use this also, this is what I should have used actually. If I separate this, a whole of this major segment, these two angles are formed in the major segment. So meaning that this very angle will be 55. This will be 55 degree raising angle in the same segment. princess segment are equal. They are equal angle. The segment are equal. So we go to the last one. The last one says angle AED. Let's look for AED. This is A, E, and D. A, E, and D. But we can see, if you understand your circuit theorem very well, we call this opposite angle in a cyclic quadrilateral. So if this is 55, this other one will be what? 180 minus 55. And what is 180 minus 55? Let's work it out. 180 minus 55. This becomes 5 here. And it's a remainder of 7. 7 minus 5 is 2. And 125. So the angle here will be 125. 125. Reason is what? Opposite angle. You can write opposite angle in a cyclic quadrilateral. Sorry, I'm struggling to write this. Opposite angle in a cyclic quadrilateral. Quadrilateral add up to what? They add up to 180. Add up to 180 degree. These reasons will give you your full mark. And let's go to question B. Triangle CXD is mathematically similar to triangle VXA. For me, I will prefer to create a diagram to say this CXD. So I can say CXD. And I'm going to draw another triangle. Remember, this is not drawn to scale. This is B. Remember, I started from CX, so I'm starting with B now. B, X, and A. So I have my two triangles. DX is equal to 8.0, DX 8. And BX here is 2.7. AX is 4.0. And what else do I have? Work out the length of CX. So I'm looking for this length. But they are similar triangle. So meaning here, this dimension is similar to this dimension, and this is similar to this. So we can use proportion or equal ratios. So let's, meaning that this over this, if I write 8 over 4, it should be equal to, remember I'm comparing similar dimensions. 8 over 4 will be equal to, remember I picked this first, so I'm also going to pick this first, will be, so let me call this unknown x. That will be x over 2.7. 2.7. So we can work it out now. We can cross multiply. X times 4 will give us 4x. So 4x will be equal to 8 times 2.7. So they divide by 4. We divide by 4. And this, we take this. And x itself becomes 4 here is 1, and 4 here is 2, and 2 times 27 is 54. But there is one decimal place to put that point, so this will be 5.4. 5.4. Now, area of triangle CAD ratio area of triangle BXA will be equal to what? Wow. So it's like using area factor. This is like using area factor. So if I want to get area factor, I'm going to get the squares of the dimension. So let me get similar dimension. This is 8. This is 4. So I can say 16 square. 60, sorry. That is 8 rather. Using area factor formula. So I'm going to square the dimension. So I'm going to have 8 square ratio what? Ratio, the dimension of this other side is what? 4 squared. So if we go by that, this becomes square of 8 is what? 64 ratio what? 16. So if we reduce it to the simplest form, 16 into here will give us 4. And 16 here will give us 1. 4 to 1. Now, question 15 says, write 660 in standard form. This is just a free mark for you. So you're able to write 6.6 times. How many numbers are moving? You're moving from here to here. Moving from here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Times 10 raised to the power of 4. Very easy. And B. Now in this question B, it doesn't really matter the approach you use. You just have to use something that will be very easy for you. I can decide to change both to ordinary number. If I change 3.7 times 10 raised to the power of 8, I'm just going to have 3, 7, and the zeros will short by 1 and 7 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then if I change this, I'm also going to have the zeros will short by 1, so I'm going to have 6 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then my 3, 7. I'll just add it up and change to standard form to avoid any errors. I'm going to have 0, 0, 0, then 0, 0, and 0. Here we bring down 7. Here we have 10, we write 0 and move 1, and we have this. So I can just write this in standard form to avoid any form of mistake. So if I write this in standard form, I'm going to have 4.07 times 10 raised to the power of, how many numbers moved, how many digits moves? We're moving from here to here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it's just that simple. Alright, so we'll be ending in this video in question 15. So subscribe to my channel for you to also be able to get from question 16 to the last question, and for more updates on IGCSE 0580. Subscribe and you keep getting more notifications from me.